Hey folks, it's been a while, but I'm gonna be making videos on and off for a little bit using my phone. My equipment went haywire, so you do the best you can with what you have, I guess. But yeah, let's just get right to it. Gamergate. Wow, that's been a big topic over the last 2 months. Just a big cavalcade of just exposing corruption within the video game journalism scene, and I feel like this has kind of happened before, but not to this scale, in terms of the lack of transparency that there is between video game journalists and those that they claim to represent, gamers, the people that play video games. And I feel like there's a bit of a disconnect between video game journalists, and they're the medium between the video game industry, the people that make the video games, and the people that play the video games. Now, like I was saying, there's a bit of a disconnect between the people that they say they're representing, gamers, and I think we've had a big helping of why that's the case. Is that a lot of these people are, for lack of a better term, in bed together. They fund each other, they live together, they sometimes sleep together, and it's natural over time to build relationships within whatever industry you work in, but the important thing is that that you're walking that fine line between having a conflict of interest and maintaining some form of professionalism. And this has spilled out into leaked emails, this has spilled out onto Twitter, and what we're seeing is a lot of just explosions in terms of video game journalists who are either staying quiet or are simply losing their minds in terms of the things that they've been saying. And since this has started, there's one thing in particular. There's been so much that's happened. There's been so much that's been said. There's been so much that's been revealed. And there's one thing that I kind of want to touch on a little bit. George Reese from Dell saying that the Gamergate cabal is the technology world's ISIS. I hope I'm quoting that correctly. If I'm misquoting that, please correct me in the comments below. But now, this isn't the first time that something like this has been said about gamers. A couple months back, there was I can't even remember his name. I don't have my computer in front of me. However, there's the guy who's like the editor-in-chief of a website who came out and said, he has more respect for ISIS members than for gamers. And that's kind of what did these journalists in and stuff like that. That's kind of what does these people in terms of the arguments that they put up that gamers are wrong to want transparency within the video game industry, within video game journalism and stuff like that. They want to not be talked down to and stuff like that. And I feel as though gaming journalists have taken it among themselves to go to Twitter, to go to these other websites and blast gamers, the same audiences that they look to represent, and then they expect that we're just going to take it. I, for one, don't appreciate it. I for one don't appreciate being called a terrorist, being called whiny and entitled, especially when I just want honesty and answers and transparency. And I just feel like those are simple things to ask for, and I feel as though the fact that they're getting this defensive, that they resort to name-calling, means that there's some truth behind the allegations. To me, anyway. These are just my opinions. But it seems as though there's some truth behind the allegations that have come out in the last few months, and I just want some clarity. That's all I'm asking for. You gaming journalists out there, I wish that you would respond in kind by saying something along the lines of, "This is what happened. I know that it was wrong. But instead, we get these people who are super defensive to a frustrating degree. Leigh Alexander, who actually I used to like, I used to enjoy her articles, but that article that she wrote, gamers don't have to be your audience, and then just the cavalcade of tweets from her, just hateful, nasty stuff, spiteful stuff. It's just terrible, the kind of stuff that she's been putting out. Yet gamers are the enemy. Who would have thought, right? So it goes to show you that a lot of this is them reacting out of, I don't know, maybe they're reacting emotionally because they know that we've got some truth behind us, and that we're a threat in terms of taking away business from them, because gamers run the industry. If we stop going to their sites, if we stop paying money for mediocre games, they'll stop making mediocre games. These second-rate journalist sites will cease to exist, and we've seen that already with Intel pulling their ads from Gamasutra, and it's just gonna continue to get worse from here in terms of other companies pulling their ads based on these people and their behaviors. I mean, what company would want to stand behind them? I mean, when Tiger Woods was found out to be cheating on his wife, I bet he lost a couple of sponsors. And I don't want anyone to lose their jobs. I don't want anyone to lose their livelihoods, because it's rough out there as it is. And I don't want to see people, get hurt by this, lose their jobs or anything like that. I don't wish anyone ill will. I just want discussion. And for the people that are hindering that, I want you to stop, and I want you to listen. Actually hear what people are saying. Hear what the gaming community is saying. Hear what the pro-Gamergaters are saying. Hear what the anti-Gamergaters are saying. And then come together to form a consensus and move on from this. This doesn't have to be as hard as you guys are making it. And I feel like the gaming journalists are making it harder by spouting these things that they say on Twitter, and by blocking comments, hindering conversation, because it's only going to make things worse. People do not respond well to being censored, especially when the internet is just an open forum for discussion, and the sharing of information. It's basically the giant internet information highway that was envisioned in the 40s and 50s, where they were coming up with this network of networks, basically. So it's up to you guys, the gaming journalists, the people that work for these sites. It's up to you to turn things around, because gamers, we have said what we want. We've said what we want. We want transparency. We want honesty. We want you guys to discuss these things with us in a mature fashion, and that's pretty much it. If you can't comply with that, then get out of the way, because there are YouTubers and smaller websites that are up and coming, and they deserve the limelight because they actually do right by their fans. They don't censor, they don't cut people off, they don't mock their key audience. And gaming industry, the people that make the games, don't stand for this. Okay? You guys make these games, and these people are in charge of getting the word out, to talk to the gamers and everything like that. And if they're acting like this, it's your job to put them in their place as well. To say, listen, gaming journalists, what the hell are you doing? If you're trying to talk up our games, then you're doing a piss poor job of it, because all we see you doing is pissing off our customers. Okay? Gaming industry, Ubisoft, EA, big companies, small companies, indie companies, whatever. Take a look at what's going on in this Gamergate situation and realize that these gaming journalists who are saying that they represent gamers and everything like that, that talk up your games and stuff like that, realize that they are messing up your business. Okay? They are messing up the ability for you to sell games. And I feel as though they are not only trying to represent gamers, but gaming journalists are also representing the companies in which they review, in which they interview, which they cover. And I feel as though it's going to hurt gaming companies more than it's going to help. So, like I said, again, gaming journalists, it's on you. What do you guys want to do with this? Because this can keep going. We've already uncovered the whole the Game Journals Pro email group, where, I don't want to say that it was a conspiracy to thwart conversation about different topics and stuff like that, but you gotta admit, it's very conflicting with ethics. There's some ethical implications there that come into question, and I feel as though there's something about it that's not right. I can't put my finger on it. I can't find the right word for it, but there's something that's not right about that. And I don't want to say collusion because that makes it seem like I'm saying that there's a conspiracy. I don't believe that there's a conspiracy within that group. From what I read, I just think that it's a group of gaming journalists that get together and talk about issues. Sometimes they shit talk YouTubers and stuff like that because they don't like YouTubers. YouTubers are taking away their business. But I do feel like there's a conflict of interest there. And going back to the whole George Reese thing, yeah, buddy, if people really need to learn how to conduct themselves online and manage their online presence, because I feel as though there's a thing that when you get online, you can say whatever you want. Like, people feel like they can say whatever they want when they get online, and that's not necessarily the case if you're a person of a particular station. Like these gaming journalists, like these people in roles that have to do with technology. Actually, I was considering buying a Dell computer. Like, it was on my list of companies to buy from in terms of getting a new computer, and that comment may not represent the views and ideals of Dell, but you gotta admit it's pretty hard for people to look past that this guy from Dell, who works for Dell, who's head of his own department, is saying these things that are super inflammatory and comparing your customers to ISIS? You mean the guys that are cutting people's heads off overseas? Yeah, that's good for business. I mean, at the job I work at, if I started just saying, hey, I work for this company, and I think that, I don't know, that Bill Maher is an idiot and Ben Affleck is stupid. I don't know. But, like, if I started mouthing off, I mean, the company that I work for would be concerned, and they'd be right to be concerned, because even if my views aren't reflected in the company's values, I'm still a public face. I'm still represented in some light or shape or fashion in connection with that company. Because you can't say George Reese now without thinking Dell, without thinking the whole ISIS terrorist comment, comparing ISIS to gamers. So, I know I'm kind of rambling on right now, but I just, there's so much that has come to light. There's so much that's been talked about, but all we want is transparency. All we want is to not be mocked and talked down to and stereotyped by the people that say that they're gamers, that they want to represent us and stuff like that. So those are my thoughts on Gamergate and a few of the things that have been happening. What do you guys think? Please leave some comments down below, and I will see you next time. Take care.